Hey everyone, welcome back to A Vintage Vanity. This is going to be another of the So Vintage series, but this time we are going to be creating a vintage hand muffs. Yes, the weather outside may be frightful, but that doesn't mean we can't be stylish, right? First thing first is you need your faux fur, or you can also use polar fleece for this, but polar fleece to me is a more modern material and it really doesn't give off that vintage vibe. It does say that it was just recommended that it be dry clean, so it does mean you could probably do it like on a gentle cycle in the washer to wash it. But that is definitely something to keep in mind when selecting your fabrics for this. This is going to be the outside, the actual outside of the muff. How fabulous does that look? Okay. Then you're going to need your inside fabric. The fabric that is going to line your muff with, that you're going to put your hands in. And I picked this great, now this is machine washable, so I've chosen this really like just warm, sunny, buttery yellow to go inside that, and I think that's going to be a great choice. You also want to get batting. The type of batting I got was the quilt batting, so that it actually lays out in sheets. And the size batting that I got was 45 by 60. So there we go. And you'll also need, obviously, your thread. The last thing you'll need is some type of cord, because hand muffs are traditionally has a cord around the neck so that you don't lose it. So I chose this great just textured black cord because the brown just looked, it just didn't look right. So let's go ahead and get started. The outer fabric is going to be 15 inches by 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it out here on my rotary mat. So let's just turn this over. We're just going to lightly brush our fur here. If you have one of those lint brushes, you could just roll that right over. I don't, so I'm just going to take some duct tape, take that, and roll it right over. Set this to the side for the moment, and then we're going to cut our satin lining. We're going to do the same thing. A rotary cutter. Cut, cut, cut. The other thing about satin is it frays terribly. You can already see it starting to do that. So we're just going to take our scissors really quick. And we are just going, our zigzag scissors, and we are just going to trim these edges. What I'm going to do just real quick is I'm just going to, and again, this doesn't have to be exact. We just want it to be smaller than our faux fabric piece. Then we're going to, because we're going to build up on top of this, because just this layer of batting isn't going to be enough to give us that nice cushiness of a hand muff. So we're going to cut, let's cut about 4 pieces of this. So we're going to lay out our faux fur. And then we're going to lay our pieces of batting on top of the faux. We're going to place our batting to the side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to place the right sides of our fabric together. And we're just going to match up our edges. And then we're going to pin it down. When you're pinning on with satin or with very slippery fabrics, what you want to do is you want to put the pin through once for a very short and put it through another. You kind of want to do a double dipping of the pin. So let me bring that up so you can see what that looks like. That will keep the pins from slipping out. So I'm actually going to be doing a bit of some extra pinning here so that as we're stitching it, it doesn't move around too much and actually change the shape of our muff. So then what we're going to do is on each side when we're sewing, we're going to leave about 1/2 inch unstitched So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a pin right at that 1/2 inch, so I know exactly where that is, where I'm going to start or stop stitching. Keep going from my pins, which usually sit on my wrist there. And I do that off the row of pins that I already have in there, just so that I know that those are my start and stop points rather than pin holders. I am going to place a couple pins, even though what we're going to be stitching is the long sides here. I am going to place a couple pins on this side, just to keep this satin fabric from moving around too terribly much and getting us all off kilter. We are going to put our cord in, let's say we'll put it at about 4 inches. Now I'm just gonna thread this through to the other side. There we go. So what I'm going to do on this side is I'm going to take this cord and kind of open it up and splay it like that, so it's a little bit flatter. And then I'm just going to place a pin right on top of that, just to keep that in place. And when you're putting that through the machine, you really want to keep your finger right on that cord so it doesn't move, and kind of push it through, and you might even have to lift your foot just a little bit, because the machine is not going to like it because it's a very thick piece of fabric. Alright. And then I'm just going to push the rest of this through to the middle there. Flatten that out and put a pin through it. So you should not be able to see your cord, because remember the cord is going to be on the outside, so that's all inside our fabric right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to do stitching, straight stitching, right on the length of this fabric. So we're all stitched on both ends, and I'm going to go ahead and take out my pins. Now what we are going to do is we are going to turn this right side out, and you should have something that looks remarkably similar to this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stuff the batting in here. Oh my gosh, this is going to keep hands so warm, especially if you have like a light pair of gloves on too. So going to help when I'm standing at the bus stop waiting in the cold Chicago winters, which surprisingly haven't been so bad so far, knock on wood. But I probably won't be saying that come, like March and February. Those are the tough months. Okay. Alright. Now I'm going to experimentally roll this up. Oh yeah. Okay. So our batting is in. Now what we just need to do is we need to roll it up. Now we're going to put your first side up, and we are going to pin our fur to our fur. You want to make sure that your cord is actually laying on top of your fur side. And this is why we left that 1/2 inch at the beginning, so that we would be able to get in there and actually stitch right at that point. Because this fur is slippery as well, I'm going to do that double dip with the pin to make sure that the pin stays in place. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about them. So here we are. This is what you're going to end up with. Here we've got the fur sides pinned together. We've got the cord running through the middle. And we're just going to stitch that with a straight stitch. This probably is going to be the toughest stitch on the entire muff, just because it is in an awkward position. So try to just get as close to 5/8 of a seam allowance as possible. Okay, I'm going to stitch this up and I'll be right back. Last thing we need to do, I know, isn't that exciting? The last thing we need to do to have our finished muff, we're going to stitch together our satin sides. So what we're going to do with this, because we don't want to stitch it, like pinch it like this and stitch it together. We actually want to fold in those ends of the satin and then pinch it together. And then we're going to pin it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take one of my biggest pins and actually put it right in the middle here. That way it's all kind of scrunched together and makes it a little bit easier to manipulate. So I'm just going to fold those ends together. And then pin it. Again, doing the double dip pinning method, because it's satin, otherwise it won't hold. So now that we've got that pinned up pretty well, I'm going to go ahead and run it through the sewing machine. You could take the time to actually hand stitch this to make this more of a seamless stitch, but since this is going to be inside the muff, I'm not going to, with my hand being all wonky like this, I'm not going to take the time to actually do that, but you could if you wanted to. Let's get stitching. Then you're going to end up with a stitch down the center like this, so you will end up with something that looks like this. So now all we have to do is turn it inside out, or right side out. Right? And then, just want to make sure that batting gets evenly distributed in there, because it probably got scrunched around a little bit from the sewing and the moving and the, make sure that gets, and there we go. Love it, love it. Hi Muff, I love you. It's so freaking adorable. And I love that punch of color that you get from the inside. Oh, that's going to keep hands so warm and so toasty. I'm thrilled to pieces and I can't wait to wear it out and about. So I'm almost looking forward to some cold weather, which is horrible to say. Okay, that's it. That is how you make a vintage hand muff. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I really had a lot of fun. And honestly, this is a great little project that you can get done in a day. As always, a quick and easy way to show your support of a vintage vanity and let me know that you have enjoyed this hand muff tutorial is to click that like thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, but you want to be notified when new videos are posted here on A Vintage Vanity, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button there, and that will let you know when new sewing tutorials come out, and hair tutorials and favorites for the month, things like that. I love hearing from you guys, so go ahead and leave your comments in the comment section below. And I'm actually thinking that I might do as a subscriber giveaway coming up pretty soon, because I think I'm pretty close to hitting, I think, like, I don't know, 250. I don't know, maybe I'll just do it as a winter one and not even worry about how many subscribers. And just do it as a winter giveaway. What do you guys think? Because I'm thinking what I could do is I'd probably do it in the same material as this, and then like maybe let you guys choose what interior color you wanted on the muff. How's that sound? That would be fun, right? Let me know, comment section below. Do you think that's a good idea? If so, I will do that. All right, I hope you guys have a good night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.